How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. So the stock market had a phenomenal day today. S&P 500 up $23, up 0.7%. The Dow Jones up $230, up 0.9%. And the NASDAQ hit yet again another all-time high. Big tech crushed it today, other than Amazon. We'll get into that in a little bit here, as the NASDAQ was up 150 bucks, up 1.4%. And don't forget about the Russell, guys. Don't forget about the Russell. Russell 2000 up 26 bucks today, actually beating all of the indexes here in the US, up 1.8%. And in this video, like we do every single day, Monday through Friday here on the channel, we're going to be breaking down the stock market, taking a look at some technicals, and I also want to break down with you guys the top stocks that I'm actually looking to buy as we're getting deeper and deeper into the month of August in 2020. And as always, we're going to be breaking down what I've been personally doing in the stock market and some earnings reports that just came out today, as well as some companies that are reporting later on this week. So jam-packed video today, guys. If you find value, as always, hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel and join our Strive Smart Discord chat and Facebook group. Those are free of charge to join down below in the description box. And also feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at StasSurFest, simply my name, all bunched up. If you want to see daily call-outs through my story and tweets that I'm putting out throughout the day, feel free to follow me on there, and let's get right into it. So again, S&P 500 up 23 bucks today. The markets in general did very well, and we got a lot of bullish sentiment, obviously, right? Today we actually, and that actually, before we get into it, that actually led from yesterday. It stemmed from yesterday, because if you were watching what happened in the last couple of, last 3 hours, 2-3 hours of yesterday, you guys are, you would have saw, or rather Friday, you would have saw how the markets rallied, right? You saw the S&P double bottomed at around 3220, rallied up aggressively heading into the close at around 3270. That's a 50-point move, guys, in the span of 2 hours. That's pretty aggressive. In terms of percentage, that's about a 1.3% move. So in terms of the S&P and the markets in general, we just continued that momentum from Friday, right? You can see the big gap up here. We took out 3280, and if you guys take a look here on the 20-day chart, I've been talking about this level on these channels, the past couple of videos like crazy. I've been mentioning it every single video. 3280 is where we were struggling back on the 20th of July, all the way up to about the 23rd of July, right? So now that we rallied up on Friday, we closed right under it. And we were saying on Friday how watch for that gap up. If that happens, that'd be very bullish. And now that we finally got that gap out, this is telling me the gap up. This is telling me that we're going higher on the S&P. The bulls are in charge, and we might be getting back to those levels pre-crisis, guys. And pre-crisis levels that we were at, I've been saying these on all the videos, 33.30, and obviously the all-time high being around 33.93. And I said earlier in the Discord chat, I wouldn't be surprised if the markets S&P hit an all-time high this week. I mean, that might be a little bit of a stretch. I might be a little bit of a stretch, because that is about 2.3% away from here. But it can happen. It can happen, especially if we get more definitive news around the stimulus, how that's going to be packaged up and actually pushed out. Once there is a deal, that could end up elevating us back up, to those all-time highs. It really depends, but I wouldn't be surprised. Let's just say maybe not the next week, but the next 1 to 2 weeks, if we hit an all-time high. It would not surprise me whatsoever. So watch out for 33.30. Watch out for 33.90. And let's say we get a pull down. Let's say we get a pull down. Where am I watching for support? I'm watching around, 32.80. 3280 is a big level. Again, we mentioned that about a minute ago. If we pull down on the S&P here, that is probably where we'll end up finding some support. So those are some brief technicals. When it comes to the S&P, overall, bulls are in charge 100%. No doubt about it. VIX was down today. Pretty much no volatility. VIX is really low, guys. I mean, it's pretty much, well, not really close to where it was pre-crisis, but you can see the crisis high was at about 85 on the VIX here. And if you guys don't know, the VIX is the volatility index, also known as the fear index. So the higher it goes, the more volatility, the more fear out there. And you guys know, especially if you were in the markets back in March, I sure was, many of you guys were, you guys know how volatile and how crazy of a time period it was. The markets were literally going up 10% in a day. The S&P, the Dow, NASDAQ, which does not happen in normal times, guys. We lived through history back then, and again, now it's cooling off. So I don't know what's going to happen in terms of volatility. Of course, I think one point to consider is heading into the election, although I don't get political at all here on the channel. We might be getting a bit volatile, a bit choppy heading into the election and maybe after the election. That's what a lot of people have been saying, and I kind of do agree with that because the election years, there's a lot going on, of course, and right now there's a lot going on in the world, which could, influence, some price action, up and down, but as us traders, that's great because that is what we love. We make money on that, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for here in the next coming months. So when we take a look at the Dow Jones, up 230 today, we held 26,400 on the dot, very, very good here, and if we zoom in a bit on the 20-day chart, you guys can see we actually took out resistance from back at towards the end of July. You can see we struggled at about 26,600 here on the 30-minute chart, 10-day 30-minute chart, and today we gapped up out of that. So that is good. That's telling me okay in the micro time frames here. We might be headed up to 27K, and if we zoom out a bit, you guys know if we take out 27K, that is where we might be headed back to the beginning of June levels at around 27,600. And from there, that is where we might start to get out on the Dow and maybe make some headway up to 28,000, 29,000, 30,000. And a lot of people are asking me, not really asking me, but in the community in general, I've been hearing around, why is the Dow not beating, not doing as well as the NASDAQ and the S&P? It's because of the big tech names, guys. Apple's in the Dow, but in terms of the big tech names, they have more influence on the S&P and the NASDAQ, which is why those are doing very well compared to the Dow, and which is why they're closer to their respective all-time highs. I mean, the NASDAQ's already at all-time highs, which we'll get into right now. NASDAQ up 150 bucks. It gapped out of a resistance today at about 11,000 bucks, which was the previous all-time high roughly. We hit about 11,085. So is this the point where we finally saw consolidation for about a month on the NASDAQ? I mean, it was hovering from 10.4 to about 11K for the past month. And is this the point that we're finally breaking out of this resistance, this channel, to make new levels of highs? I think it could be, guys. I think I wouldn't be surprised if the NASDAQ started to climb out of this consolidation range up to, let's say, 11,100, 200, 300. And of course, this is just my opinion, guys. Don't take this as what's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball. Always do your own due diligence. Always do your own research. But today, again, the bulls are in charge, and I think that this could continue. And we have to see what happens at 11,100 on the NASDAQ. That's going to be a tricky spot. If we rally out of that aggressively, I think we're going to be going higher from there. That's going to be a pretty big spot to maybe trigger some more bullish momentum. So that is an overall market update, some technicals for today. Let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on the markets? As always, I would love to know, and a way that you can maybe trade. Let's say if you think the NASDAQ's going to go up, again, always do your own due diligence, but a way that I like to trade, moves like that could be maybe using TQQQ, which is an ETF that goes up 3 times whatever the NASDAQ's going up. So there's a bit of leverage there. And of course, do your own due diligence on that. Leveraged ETFs are very risky compared to just regular stocks, but there is some potential there, and I figured I'd let you guys know. Check out TQQQ. So let's get into now what I personally did today, what I'm involved with, and some earnings reports. And before we actually talk about what I did, earnings, let's take a look at what's coming up here on the schedule. Today we had Clorox, we have Chegg, I think, Virgin already reported, Virgin Galactic. We'll break that down here in a little bit. Some energy companies, CMS Energy. Tomorrow we have BP. Tomorrow's a big day, actually. BP, Beyond Meat. These are the main 3 I'm watching. Beyond Meat 1, Activision, Blizzard 2, and Disney. That is 3. Those are the top 3. We also have Nikola, which doesn't really sell anything at this point, so that should be interesting to see how much cash they're burning. We have Wynn Resorts. That should be interesting. Lending Tree tomorrow. Wednesday, we have Square, Roku, Etsy. Those are 3 big ones on Wednesday that I'm personally watching, and I think you guys should track as well. Thursday, we have Mercado Libre. We have Uber. We have Wix.com. We have Papa John's. PZZA is the ticker on that. I'm watching that one very closely. And then on Friday, we have Canadian Solar, Meridian. We have Noble Energy. And like I said on Monday, for Monday, there's a lot of energy companies reporting this week. So this is what is going down this week. Now, I want to break down some of these stocks, some of the ones that I'm more interested in, a bit more in depth, but that we'll do after what I say, when I tell you guys, rather, what I personally did today. And let me tell you, today was a pretty interesting day, and I ended up selling out of my Microsoft position. If you guys have been following here for about, I think I was in this for about a week, a little bit over a week. I picked up some Microsoft after they reported earnings at about $200.50. That's where I picked up my position, and I did that because they had a pretty solid earnings report and the stock went down. And I think the drop in the stock was an overreaction. And overall on this 4-hour chart, if we pull up on this 4-hour chart, you can see $200 was an old resistance back towards the end of June. So I figured this could be a very good entry point for Microsoft, and I took it. And now, again, I sold out, and I'll tell you why. We saw a massive move today, and this is because TikTok, guys, you probably heard the news. Microsoft is most likely going to buy TikTok, right? Most likely going to buy TikTok, and President Trump actually set a date here, 45 days out, for a deal to come about. And that's actually going to be, the deadline on that is on September 15th. And he said TikTok will be out of business in the U.S. if there's no deal met by September 15th. And the thing here is, guys, are they going to buy all of TikTok? I mean, there's not just the U.S. portion of TikTok. You guys have to realize this thing's a global company. So that's going to be where I'm interested in seeing what's happening. President Trump was saying, are they going to buy 30%? He said he'd rather Microsoft or whatever American company, and it's going to be Microsoft, guys. Let's be honest here. I'd be shocked if someone else came in and bought them. But if Microsoft buys 30%, that's not... It's going to be difficult to brand it. How are you going to do it? Because 30% you own it here in the U.S., the 70% China owns it or whatever, and it's just better if Microsoft were to buy it out completely. It's too complicated otherwise, right? So we saw that massive surge today. It's really because of this TikTok news, and I ended up selling into the strength. So I'd love to know what you guys have to think about that, by the way, when it comes to TikTok, what they're going to do. Should they buy 20%, 30%, or the whole entire thing? If they buy the whole entire thing, that's going to be a massive acquisition for Microsoft. That'd be very exciting for the company. But for me, again, I sold out. I got in at about $250 up at, I sold at about $213. Let me double check my notes. $213.50. It was more towards the Actually, it was after the drop from 215 this morning. It sold off. Then I ended up taking profits there. And it was a move of around 6.5%. So I'm very happy with that. That was a swing trade. And another one that I'm in, that I've been in for a while, has been Workhorse, guys. And Workhorse is paying off today, and after hours it's up to $20, which is unbelievable. And I'm still holding my position, guys. Call me crazy, but I didn't lock in profits today on Workhorse WKHS. And if you guys are wondering, and you guys know this if you've been following my channel, I got into this one a couple weeks ago at $16.40, and I was taking some pain. I was down a bit on my position. We got down to $13, $14, and this goes to show trading takes patience and it takes confidence in the trade, right? And if the technicals are aligned and they're remaining kind of intact for you to hold according to your plan, and the stock's still looking pretty solid, which in my case with Workhorse, it was looking good, right? It was just consolidating. Patience comes into play because you never know when the breakout's going to come, right? And, if it were to break 1450 completely, right, and start to get down to the 12s, that's where I might have cut losses, right? But the fact that it was just bouncing up and down here for weeks, I just figured to hold on to the position. And today, again, we got a big move. It's up even bigger after hours as Lordstown Motors, which we've talked about in my Workhorse video, they own 10% of that company. They're actually going public through a reverse merger with Diamond Peak Holdings, ticker symbol DPHC. They were actually also up 20% today. They trade on the NASDAQ, I believe, and they're going public, or they're actually, again, through a reverse merger. And DPHC, like a lot of these new EV companies coming about, they're a SPAC, SPAC. That is also known as a special purpose acquisition company. We're seeing this with SHLL, right? That's another big one, Tortoise Acquisition. I haven't really gone deeper into that, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? All of these new EV companies, that's a whole different rabbit hole that we're not going to get deep into in this video. But ultimately, that is what ended up pushing up the stock today. Because again, they have 10% of this Lordstown Motors, and the Lordstown Diamond Peak merger deal assigns a pro forma value of $1.6 billion to the combined company, meaning that Workhorse's stake is now valued at about $160 million. So that's a pretty good chunk there, considering that Workhorse, when it comes to market cap, let me check their market cap. Actually, I don't even know. I know it's in the under $1 billion or $2 billion. Let me double check. It's 1.75 billion. So, that's a pretty good chunk there when it comes down to that 10% for Lordstown Motors. And I'm holding on, guys. Again, I'm in at 1640. I'm up a very big amount of my position at this point. I might be kicking myself tomorrow if this ends up going down, but I'm up about 20% right now. I have a pretty tight stop loss to lock in those profits. We'll see what ends up happening there. And I'm also in Netflix. I've been in this one at $490. We're finally breaking out today, breaking out of moving averages here on the hourly chart, in particular the 180 SMA. That is very good. We're pretty much solidifying 475 as a temporary bottom, as we're seeing a triple bottom breakout. So Netflix, I'm actually looking to add more money into this one. The question is when. I might tomorrow, maybe later this week. If it breaks 500, 505, it maintains that level. That is where I'm looking to add. I also have a small position in GDX from Friday at about $42.30. Still holding on to that to have some exposure to some gold ETFs, kind of a hedge play here. Gold stocks rather, kind of a hedge play. And I actually already have physical gold. I have exposure through GLD. So I figured let me add a little bit more with GDX. That's what I ended up doing on Friday, and I actually initiated a new position today in CLX, which will kick off our earnings discussion here. CLX reported EPS, and this is Clorox, by the way, a very good pandemic stock, Clorox EPS $2.41 versus $1.98 estimated. So they crushed EPS, and revenue came in at $1.98 billion versus the $1.86 billion. So they crushed revenue as well, and the stock ended up going down from $245 down to about $230. And for me, guys, that was a bit of an overreaction here when it comes down to the stock. And ultimately, I ended up picking up a position. And I picked up a position at $230.10. If we zoom in a bit here, I believe I picked it up more towards the middle of the day as we were dropping down towards these levels. And I'm actually just planning on swing trading this. Goal exit price is going to be around mid-230s, probably 240. I'd feel comfortable selling out, maybe 238, 237. We'll see what ends up happening, but ultimately we're holding this 4-hour 50 SMA, which has held over the past couple of months. And worst comes to worst, guys, if we take that level out, if 228 breaks, we start going down to the mid 200s, 220s, 210s, whatever, I'll just take a loss. You know that's the beautiful thing about the stock market. It's very liquid. You can just sell out, take your loss, move on to the next one. And whoever tells you that you win every position, they're flat out lying. There's going to be a lot of losses and there's going to be a lot of wins. But the thing is here, guys, you have to maximize your wins and minimize your losses, which is why you have to have that stop loss, whether it's an actual stop loss or if you're more advanced of a trader, you have more discipline, you can do a mental stop loss, which is what I also do, which I put those at around 2-3%, whatever, and if the stock drops that amount under my cost basis, I just cut out and move on to the next trade. That's just how it goes, guys. So that is what I ended up doing today. I'd love to know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts about that? What are you doing in the markets in general? Let me know. Now, Virgin Galactic also reported earnings. The stock was very volatile at first, still very volatile, and it's actually getting decimated here after hours. We were up about 7% today on the day, up to about $24 per share. Earnings came out, I think we spiked up to $25 before earnings, so we jumped to $25, then we jumped down to $21. Now we're back up to about $23, so very choppy, very volatile. And what did I say a couple days ago? What was this, yesterday, the day before, whatever? I was talking about how when you're looking at growth stocks, especially companies like Virgin Galactic, where they're not really a growth stock yet either. They're more like a concept stock because they're not even growing revenues because there's really not revenue. What you have to look at with these types of companies is how much they're losing when it comes to cash burn, and how much cash they have on the balance sheet. So I have those two metrics here for you when it comes down to Virgin Galactic, that is. Not to get confused with Virgin Airlines, guys, Airways, whatever you want to call it. They have $360 million in cash and cash equivalents at the end of the quarter, which is great. And they had EPS of -30 versus the -26 estimated. So they missed there on EPS, and they reported a $62.5 million loss for Q2. Like I've been saying, guys, going to space, all this innovation, this technology, building it, the employees, it's not free. It costs a lot. It's a lot of money. It's expensive getting to space, doing all of this stuff. So yeah, they're burning money. Millions of dollars. So space, SPCE's down pretty big amount at this point. And like I've been saying, guys, $21 is a big support on the stock. So if we do sell off further tomorrow, it's very likely, not very likely, but it's possible. Let's put it that way. $21 is where I'm looking for it to hold. If that breaks, like I said yesterday, 1850 is another big level. 1850 is another big level here on Virgin Galactic. So another company here that's expected to get crushed, that's what people are saying, is Disney, DIS. They're actually reporting earnings tomorrow, so they're going to be an interesting one to track. Overall, this stock's been very bearish ever since we took out that support here on this uptrend channel. You guys can see on this 4-hour chart, after the drop-off in the market, I mean, Disney was trading pretty religiously in this channel. Then once it took the downwards path here at the end of June, I mean, we took out 115 as a support. Ever since then, we've just been consolidating and just chilling at around 115 bucks. So I'm thinking earnings is going to move this stock, whether it's up or down. We'll see what ends up happening there. Don't be surprised if Disney goes up, guys. You know, the funny thing about the stock market is, you know, it always does, not always, but it often, let's put it that way, it often does the opposite of what you think it's going to do. So everyone's thinking, oh, Disney, the park, no one's going there, it's closed, whatever, you know, they're going to get crushed, right? And then the next day, they report earnings, and then the stock's up 10%. And you're like, what the heck? The stock should have gone down. And I'm not saying that Disney's going to go up 10%. All I'm saying is don't be surprised if it goes up like 3%, if it doesn't move at all with a bad earnings report, because the stock market never ceases to amaze you. And once you're in the game long enough, you'll realize, wow, you know, you can never expect what's going to happen. And that's kind of why I love it so much and why I do this. You know, this is what I do, guys, and I love it, right? It's always unexpected, and it's always a new surprise every day, and that's kind of what keeps things spicy, right? So that's Disney. The next one I'm watching is Beyond Meat, BYND. This is another big one. Big rally today, up about 7%. I didn't take a position. I might tomorrow or after their earnings, which are coming out on the 4th tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening there, but I think this is very good. We held 125. We've been talking about this. Very good rally here. Now the next big resistance that I'm looking at, which if we break, I'd probably end up building a position here, is around $140, which also puts us under that 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart. So watch out for those two breaks. I'm thinking if 140 takes out, that is where we might be going to the moon here on Beyond Meat, guys. And maybe not like $180, maybe not to the moon, you know, exactly, but we might be going from 140 to back to the 150s, 160s. I think that's possible, especially with a good earnings report. Activision, although it's not too attractive where it is now, they're going to be a pretty solid one to watch as well. And they're actually up after hours here. Did they just report earnings? No, they didn't. Why are they up after hours then? What the heck? What happened here? They're up about $2 after hours in anticipation. Yeah, I guess that's what it's saying here. In anticipation of the Q2 earnings tomorrow. So that makes sense. So watch out for Activision. You know, EA, Electronic Arts, they crushed their earnings. So if Activision reports anything similar, we could be going higher. RUNE is another one. RUNE, Sunrun, did very well. We called this one out yesterday, up 8.4%. Looking for maybe a pull down, maybe some consolidation on this one before maybe building a position. And they're also reporting earnings on the 10th of this month, so keep an eye on them. I'm loving this one. I think it could get back up to the mid 40s and take out 43 and get into the mid 40s in the first place and continue to do well. I think there is potential there. So another one here, which I might buy tomorrow as well, is Tesla, up 4% almost today. We're holding 1430, 1450, solidified it again today as a support. We rallied off of it, but we're still struggling a bit under this 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. On this hourly chart, we're struggling under the 180 SMA. So for me to get into Tesla, guys, I'm going to need to see a breakout of 1500, maybe probably 1500, quite honestly. That's where I'd feel comfortable building a position, probably more like 1530, 1540, and then I can see it getting back up to 1600. We have battery days. I think that's in September at some point. That's a big event here coming up. And I almost forgot, and I even excluded it in my notes here. I almost forgot NIO, guys. Holy crap. NIO was up 14% today. Their delivery numbers for July were up 300%. Let me double check that. They reported delivered 3,000. Yep, here it is. 3,500 vehicles in July. That is up 320% year over year. So now we're seeing some massive growth numbers here. That's incredible. And again, we had a pretty solid day, up 14%. And at this point, guys, we're finally looking more bullish on NIO. And, you know, it's been in a range, kind of like Workhorse. You know, it's been struggling between $12, $13, but now that we're taking out $13.60 pretty quickly, we're not taking it out completely quite yet, but now that we're starting to, and if we take out $14 tomorrow, sometime this week, this could be going higher to the 15s, 16s, as that would bring more bullish momentum, in my opinion. It's showing more direction. If that does break into the 14s, that is good. So watch out for NEO. Also, we talked about Papa John's. Watch PZZA. You know, this could be a breakout. We hit 99 this morning, pulled down to 95. This could be a little pull-down play on Papa John's. And Amazon, guys, despite tech hitting all-time highs, or rather the NASDAQ hitting all-time highs and tech doing pretty well today, Amazon, Facebook, and Google, they were all red. I mean, Amazon took the worst beating, down 1.7%. Google was down about 0.6%, still down about $8. And I'm watching both of these tech giants for a play. Not Facebook, although it was red today too, but I'm not looking at Facebook here because it's really close to all-time highs, so I don't want to get in at the top. But Amazon, on the flip side, you know, it's decent here at about 3,100. If it holds 3,100, we could be making a move back to where we were after earnings, which was around 3,250. If you guys recall, we hit 3,250. So watch 3,100 as a support here. You guys can clearly see that on this hourly chart, right? You can see 3,100 has been a resistance stemming back from the middle of July. And watch Google at about, let's take a look here. If this computer wants to load, we can see Google is holding this 180 SMA on this 4-hour chart, and we're also about $110 off those highs. So this could be a dip on Google that offers around, let's take a look here, about 6 to 8% potential for profit. And the last one here is FedEx, guys, FDX. Watch for the break out of 170. We've talked about this a lot. You know, this has been a level of resistance stemming back from about 2 years ago, and I think above 170, FedEx is getting to about 185, $200. That's kind of the target that I have on it right now, and I'm loving it, especially after they reported very strong earnings back, when was that, a month ago at this point? It's been about a month since they reported earnings, and ever since then, they've been crushing it. So overall, guys, that is it for this video. Let me know down below in the comments, what are your top stocks that you're watching? What are your thoughts on the markets in general and where we're headed? I would love to know. And if you guys actually want 2 free stocks from Webull before you get out of this video, you can actually use my affiliate link down below in the description box, and you get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 if you deposit $100 into that account. And I actually also get 2 free stocks since it is an affiliate link, and that just directly supports me and all the free content that I'm putting up here on YouTube. So I really do appreciate you guys if you use those links. And if you want to join our free Discord chat, Facebook group, those are also linked down below as well. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there, guys. Peace out.